Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Books with Meena. I'm Meena and today I'm going to be talking about the Shadow and Bone Netflix adaptation. So this one is a very recent one. It came out like just yesterday or day before yesterday. I don't know when you're going to be seeing this video, but I watched all 8 episodes. It's on Netflix. It's based off of the book written by Leigh Bardugo, Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows. Both of them are separate series. I bet most of you know who Leigh Bardugo is because, if you know about books or young adult books, I'm pretty sure you have heard these names. But Shadow and Bone is a YA high fantasy adaptation and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it on Netflix. I watched all 8 episodes in one day. A lot of people have been reviewing these books, this show from, readers to non-readers, everyone. And I feel like everyone is like talking about this, so like what new could I possibly add? So I won't be getting into the plot of this book quite a lot. I will just mostly talk about the characters, which is actually the main reason that I went to watch this series and why I actually fell in love with it, because of the characters. I mostly don't really care about the plot that much. So I have read the first book, Shadow and Bone, quite some time ago. I have probably forgotten everything that happens in it. Six of Crows I read more recently, so I've only read the first book in both of these series. I did not continue on with them, and I'm not like the hugest fan of the Grishaverse. I have read these books and I enjoyed them a little bit. For me, Six of Crows, by the time that I read it, the hype was just too much. So I could not like totally fall in love with it the way that so many people in the booktube community have. So as you almost know that this Netflix adaptation is going to be a mishmash of Shadow and Bone, the original Grisha trilogy, with Six of Crows, which is actually a sequel duology, and the producers and the writers of this show have mishmashed both of these stories together so that they can introduce the Six of Crows character alongside the Shadow and Bone characters. I think that the casting is done really well. I enjoyed the acting of each and every one of those actors. Jessie May Lee plays Alina Starkov, and she is the one who is basically the main character of this whole season and possibly the whole series. I'm not quite sure which direction the series will go, but as for now, she's the main character and she's carrying the whole project through, and she did a great job. I totally loved her acting. I totally rooted for her. In the books, Alina is a little bit of a plain girl, and she does not feel like she fits in because she's not super pretty or anything. But in this adaptation, you get to see her have more depth than that. You get to see that she is half Shu. She looks like her mom, and how that has made her a little bit other in this Ravkan society. Even the love interest, Mal, he is also half Shu, but he does not face the same kind of discrimination that Alina faces, and you kind of get to see how people perceive Alina as being more Shu than Mal, and I thought that was an interesting thing to add to the series, also very timely given what has been happening in the world. The costume design, the cinematography, I'm not sure what the technical terms are for these things, but the costumes and the just the visual of this whole series was very aesthetically pleasing. It very much matched what I thought of when I read the book. It is like more darker themed. I think Six of Crows till date is one of the more darker and more mature YA high fantasies out there, and I think that the tone and the visuals of this adaptation were definitely very much how I imagined them when I was reading the book. Among the crows, we get to see Jesper, Kaz, and Inej working together. As of now, Nina, Mathias, and Wylan have not yet come together with the crows. So we get to see this trio working together, and their dynamic was absolutely wonderful to watch. I have always liked Inej. Kaz and Jesper to me were like okay kind of characters, but I definitely fell in love with Jesper after watching the adaptation. Kit Young, who plays this character, did a great job of showing the charm and the wit, the kind of like swaggering, swashbuckling style that this character has. I think that was done really well and definitely made me really fall in love with this character. And just he was like a very entertaining character to look at or to just see in this adaptation. You get to see a little bit of Inej's past when she worked at the menagerie. If I'm not wrong, that is how you pronounce it. As for Kaz and Jesper, you don't really get to see much of their past. You kind of get to see hints of Kaz's or his rivalry, or the kind of like revenge that he wants against Pekka Rollins, and how he is like more cold-hearted, or at least comes across as very cold-hearted and calculating. As for Jesper, he kind of just sticks to being like the humorous sidekick type of guy who is like, very swaggering and swashbuckling. Both Kaz and Jasper don't really get much backstories. Inej, we get to see a little bit more of her. So as of now, the crows are just like, I would say they're like an extra piece to the story that make it all more interesting. They bring the whole like chosen one storyline of Alina's together with like this more industrial revolution, people working on the streets and these gangs and everything. They bring like those two worlds together, and that makes for a more interesting story than just having like a straightforward good versus evil chosen one kind of plot. So let's talk about the Darkling. I know a lot of people have like a lot of opinions on this character. A lot of people don't like him at all, and a lot of people want Alina to end up with him. And to be quite frank, again, I read the Shadow and Bone book quite a long time ago, so I forgot most of what happened in it. And when I was introduced to the Darkling's character, which is played by Ben Barnes, I was thoroughly like, I almost wanted Alina to be with him, and that just goes to show like the good acting that was done by the actor. Because I was totally on board with the Darkling, or at least in this adaptation, he is known as Captain or General Kerrigan. So you just kind of like feel for him, and you feel like, oh, he's a good guy, obviously, right? And yeah, I was like, you know what? If Alina ends up with him, I might not mind it. Like it's fine. He looks like he seems like a good guy. But obviously, when you keep watching the episodes more and more, you definitely get to see more of like everyone's stories and all facets of their characters. I didn't really care for Mal that much. I think that I think it was an interesting twist to add that instead of Mal being like the golden boy, protector of Alina in the orphanage, it was opposite in the Netflix adaptation, and that Mal has to grapple with being a guy, and toxic masculinity is brought up where as a child he did not really want to fight and confront his bullies. Alina would do that for him, but now that he is more grown up, he's probably in like his late teens or early 20s. I'm not quite sure what the characters' ages are in the adaptation, but yes, now that he's more grown up, he has learned how to fight, and he has tried to make himself into this person who can easily adapt into his surroundings. I didn't really care for Mal that much. I think he's very likable, and I do think that Lena and Mal together make a really cute couple. That is definitely the ship that I am rooting for. So yes, if I did care for him, I basically cared for more of the couple rather than the character itself. So now that we've talked about most of the main characters, I want to talk about Nina and Mathias because they are introduced more later into the episodes. I think Nina is introduced in episode 3 and Mathias is introduced in episode 4, if I'm not wrong. And I totally fell in love with Nina's character the first moment that I saw her. I was just totally enthralled, and yeah, I just even when I was reading Six of Crows, Nina was my favorite character, so it's not like a huge surprise to me that I liked her even in the adaptation, but like hands down, Nina is my favorite character even in the adaptation. Even apart from the book, I just Nina, oh my god, I have a crush on her. I already really like this character, and now after seeing the adaptation, after seeing like the actress, I can't remember her name, but the actress playing this character, bringing her to life, that just made me fall for this character even more. Like hands down favorite character in this entire like 8 episodes. Even though like Nina and Mathias come for a pretty short amount of time compared to the other characters, I totally bought their chemistry, their banter, their journey. Like I was totally invested in that. I never felt like I was our attention was being focused on some other plot line, and we were like diverting from the main plot line. I was totally invested in their journey too. Same with Mathias's character. I think that the actor who plays him does it really well. Even though I don't like Mathias, he's like a Grisha hunter / witch hunter, and I don't like the things that he says about the Fjerdan women, like those things. No, not I don't like it at all. But the actor who plays him, I think that was done really well. And I totally just liked Nina's and Mathias's dynamic so much. I can't wait to see more of them. So for Kaz's character, like I said, you don't really get to see a lot of his backstory or why he is the way he is and all of that, but you get a good sense of, okay, he's like the boss, he's the leader, he's very cold and calculating. But somehow Kaz in the books came off as much more, I would say, much more just smart and cunning and just even charismatic, I would say. But in the adaptation, I think the actor, if I'm not wrong, his name is, I forgot the actor's name, but I think that Kaz's character did not seem that charming, or did not really pull me in that much. I feel like he didn't really have much to do because Inej was like going about spying and climbing buildings, those kind of things. Jesper was, he had his humor, and once in a while he would like use his guns to like solve situations. But with Kaz's character, I just felt like he wasn't really doing much. He never really got a moment to like shine and show his abilities, which basically include, planning stuff and scheming things, those kind of things. So, again, it makes sense because the crows are not the main focus so far in the plot line. But I just, yeah, I didn't really like Kaz in the books that much. I liked him enough, but not as much as everyone else seems to. And in the adaptation, I just felt like I felt nothing for him. As for Inej, she's a badass. Like, what can I say? She's a badass. And again, I liked her, but not as much as everyone else seems to. She's really strong. She can do like impossible things. So out of the 8 episodes, I definitely enjoyed the latter half episodes more. The first 2 or 3 ones were a little bit hard for me to get into. I found that I just hadn't gotten fully invested in the characters and the plots and everything happening. Some things were also confusing because I had forgotten about the magic system and the world, the different like politics and everything happening. So it took me some time to get to know the characters and the world and to understand the politics. But yeah, the first 2 or 3 episodes were a little bit slow. But after the 4th episode, things definitely. In episode 3, Nina was introduced, so I was totally like hooked. When Nina's character would come on screen, I was like, yes, I want to watch this. I want to watch more of this. So that also kept me going, for the latter half of the episodes. Definitely episodes 6, 7, and 8 have a lot of action, have a lot of high stakes scenarios, and the characters are like really having to grapple with their new reality and make choices that are very hard for them. So those episodes were definitely like, holding your breath like a YA character from the early 2010s, and sitting on the edge of your seat, and just feeling anxious as to like what is going to happen. Yes, those episodes were definitely more, I would say, entertaining, and also more, I was just more invested by that time in all of these characters and the world. So overall, obviously, I liked this whole series, obviously, as you can tell by what I've been talking about it and everything. So yes, I liked it. I don't know how to rate a TV show. I'm not really like a good movie reviewer. I mostly, like, if I am going to review a movie or a TV show, I will do it based on like a book to movie or book to TV show adaptation. And yeah, so I enjoyed it and I really liked it. Can't wait for season 2. God knows when it's going to come out. I can't wait to know what's going to happen in the second season, and even after that. We do leave at somewhat, there's a somewhat of a cliffhanger at the end, and so there are some questions that are still left to be answered, and you're slowly getting to see the crows coming together, because Inej, Kaz, and Jesper are already together, but Nina and Mathias have met. So you're slowly getting to see everything coming together for the duology. As for obviously Shadow and Bone, we are going to be continuing with the good versus evil chosen one storyline. So that is it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely gushed a lot and I don't think I was very coherent, but I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know your thoughts if you watched this adaptation. Have you read the books? Have you not read the books? Which one do you think is better? Do let me know all of this in the comments down below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you wish to do so. And that is it for this video. Goodbye.